How's it going, everybody? My name is Will. A while back I decided to buy a project car just to fix up and have something to do, and I landed on a 1990 Mazda Miata that I found off Marketplace. It was originally listed for $2,700. I figured I could get that down to around $2,000. Ended up landing on $2,100. It had about 170,000 miles on it and was a hard top. If it wasn't a hard top, I probably would have paid a lot less for it. Over the next couple months, I'm going to be restoring it because it needs a lot of work. And every video I'm going to be going over the budget that I started with and the budget that I actually ended up spending on the car. I would also like to add that I am by no means a professional. I've spent most of my time working on my MR2 here. I have worked on a buddy's Miata that has had loads of problems since he got it, but somewhere along the way I was like, you know what, I fixed almost everything on this car with you. I might as well just get my own now that I know how to work on one. So that's what I did.
In this video, we will be fixing the water pump, the transmission leak, doing some basic maintenance around the car, as well as fixing the heater core.
Alright, so I already got the intake manifold off and the hose that runs from the radiator to the thermostat and all the other little bits that go with that. First, I'm going to have to take off the spark plug wires, and what I'm going to do before I do that is just number them 1, 2, 3, 4, because I really don't want to get those mixed up. And then after that, we can take a 10 mil, I'm assuming it's a 10 mil, and undo all of our bolts on the valve cover gasket. I want to get to where I can store this car outside, and I also want it to where it is in running driving condition. You might have noticed right here I've got a makeshift bracket because the car didn't have one on it when I bought it. And then our AC compressor is also missing a bolt. And I only had time to go to Tractor Supply today, and they wanted $24 for 3 bolts that were all either not the right size or not the right kind of bolt. So I just zip tied it, and it actually feels pretty sturdy now. I just remembered I need to get some kind of chart down to remember where all these go. And here is our lovely drawing to remember where all the different bolts go. Next, there is a bolt up here on the tensioner, and then another one down here on the power steering pulley. And you don't need to take those all the way out, just get them loose. Now, you just need to take the alternator belt off too. Your alternator belt also runs to your water pump. For the alternator belt, there is a 14 mil right there, and there's one more on the top there that we need to loosen. Oh God. And this is why this is a restoration series and not a how-to video. There's supposed to also be a bracket on that alternator, and there is not. It's the same cube shape that is on the accessory belt, but it is just not there. So that's fun. This bolt right here, I was loosening it and it occurred to me that that is not held into anything since there's no bracket. It is tightened down, all it does is spin, which means that that bottom bolt down there was the only thing holding this alternator belt on. Because when I loosen that, I'm able to move the alternator around. Not by a whole lot. I think that should be enough to get the belt off though. The alternator does not want to go that extra little bit in order for me to get it off. If you're having trouble getting these hoses off here, take your dental pick tool, if you have one, and we're just going to stick that up underneath the hose and just kind of get it loosened, because these look like they've been on there for a long time. They do not want to come off. There we go, there's one. Oh! Okay. That came off suddenly. And I'm also gonna undo these connectors over here. Well, it was just one connection. It looked like more. This is about the best angle I can get of the water pump pulley. Are bolts for the pulley. Focus. And the pulley feels like it's stuck on something, so I'm going to take off the upper timing belt cover. And it looks like we do have a gasket on that too. I'm not sure if that was included in the kit that I've got. I'll have to check. There we go. I'm not sure if that helped. I just pulled on it in a different direction. That got the water pump pulley off, and now we can slide the alternator belt off as well. Next, we're gonna undo those two bolts on the crankshaft pulley, and to keep it from spinning, I'm just gonna put the car in 5th gear. There's 4. I lied, there's actually 4. I could just only see 2 of them. Now that all 4 of those bolts are off, we're just gonna take a screwdriver and just gently get that pulley out. I could not get this crankshaft pulley to pull off, and that really good video that I have a link to in the description, his pulley just came right off. I am not as fortunate, but I sprayed it with blaster from the top, and I mean like covered it, and just going around it, and you can see up in there, it is rusted to hell and back. All right. Oh, I just covered my phone in blaster. And yeah, it is rusted. I think I'm gonna grab a wire brush and clean that up real quick.
I then took the car out for a test drive and realized that the ignition timing was about 6 degrees advanced, so I fixed that with a timing light. In this clip, I currently have my foot to the floor, and you can tell that the car is barely even moving. Unfortunately, after recording all the videos of the water pump replacement, about half of them decided to corrupt while they were on my computer. The whole project took about 3 days, and I think about the last day and a half was just trying to get the car back in time. Alright, so there is our heater core just behind that chunk of plastic. You can see the heater core lines back there, and they do look corroded. I'm assuming that's brass that they're made of, so I'm assuming those are bad, and we've already got a new heater core, so we're gonna go ahead and throw that in. First thing to do would be to try to get that cover off. Okay, we got one of the heater core pipes out. As you can see, it was probably leaky at some point based off the corrosion there. I thought this was interesting, this was on the end of it. I figured that maybe it had been messed with before, but based off the grooves on that, that actually looks like it comes from the factory with just a little piece of a heater hose on there. The other one was not like that, so we're going to be using our pipe cutter here to get that one off. Okay, we got it out. A little bit of fluid came out, like a couple drops. Not as much as I think is supposed to be in there. This side twisted off, like I tried to tug on it and it just came straight off on there, and then I took a pair of pliers and snip that last little bit. That's it up. It just slides out like an air filter after that. And it looks like our new heater core is the same size as the old one. This one's aluminum, this one's brass, and this is gonna hurt me to do, but I am gonna have to cut probably right here, and I think I'll make my other cut right there. I don't want to risk messing up that little piece there, so I think, yeah, there and there. And I realize that this is, I think, just a rubber tubing cutter. It says tubing, doesn't necessarily say around rubber. Hopefully this goes well, because if we cut it and it does something wrong, we're just screwed. We can't return it. This was 50 bucks off Rock Auto. It was more like 70 with shipping and tax and all that. And it looks like our first pain in the ass is going to be that this is smaller than that. I think 5/8 should still fit on there. It's gonna be more likely to leak, and the whole point of doing this is so that it doesn't leak. I guess we'll just hope for the best. We can always just swap out for rubber heater hose later. I was wrong. So some new heater hose. This is, recently used this on replacing the heater hoses on my MR2, not the heater core itself. And they were a little bit smaller than all the other ones I had, but it fits like a glove. So that should be perfect. So we're just gonna have that on there, and then just have 2 screw down hose clamps here and here. And I think that should be good.
Well, that was easy. Just slid right in. This was in the way. This was also in the way, but I was able to push him up enough to get him in there. That's where it's supposed to be. Well, guess I had to figure that out the hard way. Because I cut this so far up, when I put it onto the nozzle, it doesn't fit into that little groove right there, which isn't a huge deal. I think I'm just gonna cut the groove down just with a pair of pliers. And if I need to cut more down, I'll just use a Dremel. I should have cut that way further down where it originally was instead of trying to give myself more room here. And coming around to the other side, we're looking good there. Still can move them around a little bit. I drained the coolant from the radiator, and this hose is gonna go to the closest one to it. And that hose is gonna go to that pipe back there. Here is the finished product. Got all of our hose clamps on. Got this to work. It's got a small kink right there, but I don't think it's enough to really mess with flow.
In this video, we ended up spending a total of $80 on our water pump and timing belt kit from Parts Geek. We spent $75.79 on our heater core from Rock Auto, and we also spent $9.99 for some gear oil for the transmission from Tractor Supply Company.